Welcome back to Rev Endurance Sports and another edition of Rev Does Cooking. In a previous video, I showed how to make these little dinner roll sandwiches, and they're only about this big. And those are for during the ride for a change of taste from your sugary powders and stuff like that. But I wanted to show you what I generally have for breakfast on a very long ride. So it's a simple bowl of rice with butter, salt, maple syrup, and for protein, I have some eggs. So I wanted to show you just real quick how I put this together. So just a little cooking tip, when you're cooking, let's say oil or anything, whatever type of fat you're going to use, you let your pan heat up first, then you put the butter or whatever. Now, I know some of you may be vegetarian, some of you may be vegan, so substitute some of these things for things that you would eat. I'm a carnivore, I eat eggs. So what we'll do is just a tiny pat of butter, because it really goes a long way, and you'll see what I mean here in a second. And what you want is for it to start bubbling like that. That little sizzle is what you want. And then I generally have, depending on the ride, the length of the ride, I generally have maybe two eggs to about that quantity of rice. So we're just letting that just kind of, now this being a non-stick pan, the egg just kind of, the butter just adds a little more flavor to it, but it's not going to stick all that much. All right, so now if you're pressed for time, you can make the rice the night before and then just put it in the fridge, and it'll keep for, 8 hours or so, 10 hours or so. Rice doesn't perish all that quickly. So while that's cooking, I generally will add a pat of butter into this and lots of salt, because I love salt, and some maple syrup. So ignore the container, but this is maple syrup. And everything is subject to your palate. So if you like more salt, put more. If you like less, put less. Then I usually pop that in there for about 30 seconds or so. And this is already starting to cook. And this is all happening in real time. So if you are the type that says, I just don't have time to make breakfast in the morning, well, I beg to differ. You can find the time. So generally, right about then, I flip that guy over. And this guy, you can just see how it's a little bit liquidy, but that's fine, because once I flip this over, like that, shut this off. By the time I get this guy out and prep it, that white part, or that, well, that's fine too, because we do want it to be nice and gooey, because that's one of my favorite parts of this meal, is that I have this yolk that now, when I, see if you can get that shot, when I pop that in there like that, then that just gets all on the rice. And then I mix that all up, whoopsie, and that's what I have for breakfast. So it's a very quick breakfast. You've got your carbs, you got your protein, you've got your fat, and you've got some salt in there. So if you want to get a head start on your electrolytes and your sodium, that's one way to do it. Now I can see that steaming, so I gotta eat this really quick. Thanks so much for tuning in. Please like and subscribe. We'll see you up the road.